Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of the TFC Open Mic. We've got a few topics to talk about tonight. We've got the WIP, we've had the FAT, which was a lot of fun. But before we really go into anything, I did want to give props to GD Raken. I'm sure most of you guys have managed to catch it by now. You know, I know Tuesday we kind of did grill the update. We gave it a good bashing, and one thing we did talk about a lot on the show was that Kickstarter should have put up some information explaining the update to us, which funnily enough after the show they did. Now I'm not saying that the show was the direct reason as to why they did that, but I think it certainly helped, and it was a great post. What did you guys think of the post?
Wow. Yeah, it was a really long post.
It was like a Babel.
Yeah. I think I read it twice.
I didn't even read all of it.
That was one I actually printed and then went and read it with a brew.
Well, I was going to read it on my lunch break, but then I realised my lunch break wasn't long enough. So
I personally think it was awesome that he took time out of his obviously busy schedule to do this, and he obviously spent quite a lot of time on it and thinking about it and making sure it was all right. And I for one really appreciated the effort on his part.
I think Kickside was afraid they were going to lose his Sector's coin.
Well, I know for one, right? I know. I personally, I think GD Raken does a fantastic job with BP, and since he's come on to the company, he's been amazing with the game. And a lot of the stuff, the features that many of us love, are results of some of his work. And I know personally that he did stay up very, very late. In fact, when I spoke to him, he was just finishing off the post, and it was after 2 a.m. in the morning. So I know that he stayed up all night, and I'm not sure if that was on his time or what, but he stayed up all night to write that post, and he was generally upset. You know, he wasn't upset with us. He was upset. He was upset because he felt that he had done us a disservice, and that just goes to show that the kind of level of commitment he has to the players and to keeping us happy. So I thought that in itself, was a great thing to see. Did anyone else have any other comments they want to put on regarding that update, that post?
I just appreciate that they even got like an explanation out there. Yeah, it came with it, but they explained it to us, and after that, I understood what they were doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also it was some of the stuff that they mentioned, like that's coming up. It was. I'm just going to quickly click open the post now. But some of the stuff that they talked about that's in the roadmap, that's gave us, the player base, an insight into stuff we had no clue about, and I do feel that it made things make a lot more sense. Especially regarding one of the things I really, really liked, and I'm not sure, was it in this? It was in this post, wasn't it? And it was about hulls having a longer shelf life.
Yeah.
And no longer being obsolete in 4 weeks, and instead having like a 10-month shelf life, which is absolutely amazing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, particularly PvE.
Well, the other thing I like is the fact that they're separating the two, right? If you remember with the Reavers, there was this big problem of raid power creep, because they'd release an overpowered hull, and then they'd have to tailor the raid to that overpowered hull, and anyone who didn't get that overpowered hull suffered in the raid. Mm-hmm. And now they're splitting it up so that they can individually, they can keep them separate, so that if they release a really high-powered hull for base hitting, they're not going to have to tailor the next raid to that hull. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think it's gonna keep things more balanced in the long run.
Yeah, I agree, and I also feel that it's something that needed to be done. I must admit, on Tuesday I was a bit shell shocked by it more than anything. I was just a bit surprised that what had happened. But looking at it more objectively, and looking at the post that Raken made, and having more time to think it through and its impact on the game, I actually kind of agree with the update now. Like I think that it was the right thing to do, because I think the game needed its balance addressed, and I think that they had to kind of take it back to a zero sort of stance. Like, they had to kind of start again with it, and I think that was the only way they could do it.
It's a bit like saying, how do you reset your PC when you still want it turned on? and still using it. It's the same sort of concept, isn't it? You want to continue using it, but you know you've got to reset it and reformat it to get it to work better and go back to the start state again. You can't do both, but they're trying to do both, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I can honestly say I did have a... oh, God, excuse me, guys. I'm choking here.
Good.
Yeah. I did have a chat, and I know that there was a couple of different things that they looked at. I will say this, and I know that the other things they looked at would have been they would have pissed you guys off a lot more than this update. Like the other options they had in front of them to restore that balance was actually probably worse, I would say.
Find a movie.
So
no, it's a good thing, mate. I mean, when the update came, I just looked and I was like, "What the hell?" He's just wiped out my top float. But then after reading his post and seeing that it's not going to be a full week shelf life for ships now, which is going to affect my pocket, it is a good thing, mate.
yeah, and also, I mean, let's also take into consideration that we're seeing build times going down every month at the moment, and we're building ships at 12 days apiece. So this would have probably been more of a kick in the teeth if we were still in those Reaver days where we were looking at 25 to 30 days a ship.
No.
You know, you can almost get a fleet done for that now. So it is a big difference. Yeah. So I mean, anything else on that, guys, or should we jump into the? I think we'll go in.
I was just going to say, I think myself, sort of, I've not coined a hull or a fleet in quite a while, but those guys who have been coining base fleets, you know, I can see their disappointment in this, but it's got to come.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I can see the disappointment. I can see them being, you know, wanting to smash up their computer. But I think at the end of the day, for a better game moving forward, it's something we needed to do.
Well, what I think is that, you know, I think that, like you said, it did need to be done, but the way they went about it was wrong. And I just hope that they learned from that experience, and any new changes that are going to come out, they do it in a better, more appropriate way.
Well, Raken did say that in future, when there's like big updates coming, they're going to like give the community notice now.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I hope he lives up to his word, because, you know, he put it out there, and if he doesn't live up to his word, all credibility with the community is going to end up being lost again. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
And I think you've got to look at what do they mean by notice. You know, if they say, "Oh, there's a big update coming, so be careful," or "No, it's a big update. Don't coin any hulls this month because they're going to be worthless next month because we're going to, you know, increase the base hitting, you know, sort of thing." So if you're building a base hitting fleet, it's going to be useless. And that's what they needed to do, was announce that about a month or so ago.
Yeah,
even just vague teasers like, "Oh, the base defenses and turrets are going to get stronger," this and that. So at least we have some understanding of what's going to happen, and we can reasonably prepare if they're not wanting to go into detail.
I think the saving grace we've got, I think, at the moment is the hulls that we're using now are valid for PvE. So that aspect is done. So when the new stuff comes in for PvP, then the likes of, you know, the really, really keen players will then only have to focus, I think, on that, and then maybe do a slight refit to make sure that PvE is very, or as ergonomic as they can possibly make it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They had to do that because you need to do well in the PvE content to get any hull, really, PvE or PvP in the future, it looks like. So they had to, and they did. Good job.
It's right around here.
Yeah, and all I've been building for the last 3 weeks is Sentinel hulls anyway, so and I guess most are like that, sort of building those ready for the PvE stuff. So I guess by what they gave us with that unique hull last raid, which was a very niche hull, as everyone said, if those of us have been building it, then actually we've not been building anything that has been, you know, sort of a shorter shelf life.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they roll it out. I also feel that there's like, you know, if we're going to go down this road of having hulls that have resistances for PvE and hulls that have deflection for PvP, you know, that's a great concept, and I think many can get their heads around that quite easily. But I wonder if there's going to be a cost variation. You know, which is going to be the most expensive to build? Are they going to stick to this path of, you know, between sort of 10 and 14 days a hull now, or are we going to get into this situation where they'll make one more expensive than the other, especially in build times? You know,
I think initially they need to stick with the pattern, or they need to lower it even, right? Because, you know, what they've done is they've made all the holes that I've got PvE, so I've really got no effective holes for PvP, right? So if they're going to be releasing new content specifically for PvP, they need to make it so that I don't have to spend 6 months building before I can get into the game. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I think that PvP is kind of the fun part. That's the fun side of the game. Like the PvE environment, that's where we have to go out and do our chores to get our prizes, to build our holes, to be competitive, and to be able to continue doing stuff at high end. Whereas the PvP should be like the fun side of the game, where we just go and chill out and smash a base and have a laugh, you know? So I if anything, I would think that we everything should be the same, or even lean towards making PvP relatively low cost.
Well,
Yeah, Cool, mate.
they did say that the ships would have a longer shelf life now, right? So you could get to building that PvE hull or that PvP hull and still be able to be in the game.
Yeah, but if they're saying like they've got a 10-month shelf life and it takes you 6 months to build the fleet, then you're only going to get 4 months out of it, mate. Like, so it's cost-wise again, isn't it?
And also, if I've got to wait 6 months before I can hit a base effectively, I've got no reason to play the game. I've got no reason to log in. You know what I mean?
True that,
Yeah.
No, I don't think they'll do. I don't think they'll do 6 months. No way.
No, I mean, I'm loving the game at the moment, the way how it's sort of 10 to 15 days for a hull, with the tokens from the Forsaken mission. Actually, I can build 4 ships by the next raid.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And that's how the game should be. It shouldn't be that we should be stacking up all these holes that are getting to a point that you never build them. It's just a collector's game.
Collector's game.
Yeah, and it's, you know, where it is at the moment. I think they're just about getting it right. That for a coiner, if you want it there and then in that first couple of days, yes, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, but you're going to have that hull a month before most other people are going to have it, sort of that fleet built. And I think that's about right.
I'd like to see it. I mean, as from a coiner standpoint, I would really not like to have to spend much more than 800 to 1,000 coins on a fully built hull with these new ships. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
See, I kind of agree with you, Judge. I mean, I feel that we are on the right path for the game, and we have been for a few months now. And I feel that there's not been one big in-your-face massive improvement. What there has been is a long string of small improvements spread across months and months and months that, when added together, you know, just generally create a better environment for the game. It's not been big changes; it's been a series of small changes, is what I mean.
I think there's two things to consider here. I think the first one is when that very first hull comes out, loaded, because that's what you're going to want to do to coin it. What's going to be the cost? Is it going to be 12 days done? Great, fantastic. And if we're in the right time of the month, yeah, we can get the ship tokens out of the FM because that's PvE. So one pays back the other. And the other one, I'm just going back to the chat where Damnation has said, I wonder the interaction between the guard fleet and the base hitting fleet. So what are you going to put in the guard to defend against these basic? You can't really use PvE because it's not going to do it. So what's going in your guard fleet from this point forward?
Well, that's a problem that I've got with it as well, because I just got 2 gammas put in, and you know the way they're talking is that it's going to be deflection based for base hitting, right? Now, if you're going to come into a base with the turrets the way they are now, you're not talking about 700-800 deflection. You're going to need thousands of deflection. My APOCs do 12,000 damage a hit, right? And they've got 100% bypass on them. So for you to effectively hit a base that's putting out that sort of damage, your deflection has to be really high, right? Unless they don't do very high assault deflection on them, because otherwise it's going to completely make your guards useless because the weapons you've got aren't going to get through the deflection. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think that they may mirror the deflection stats. You know, I think we might see a mirrored, because otherwise you're going to need to see that they're also going to need resistances. Here's what troubles me about that issue, because I thought about that issue too, right, is if for them to effectively do it, they're either going to need to make those PvP holes have both siege and assault deflection at a similar stats. So say it has 1,000 assaults, it need 1,000. You know, it might need 1,000 siege and maybe 500 or 600 assault for it to work, right? Correct? Or are they going to start putting resistances on them as well? And then in which case, if they do that, then that hole itself may turn out to be better in PvE as well as PvP, because it might turn out to be absolutely statistically a damn sight better than any hole you've got anyway.
But they said they won't do that. They said the PvP holes that are going to come out are going to focus around really low resistances and really high deflection.
Deflection versus resistance.
So I would imagine they're going to have to go really high siege deflection and moderate assault deflection. Otherwise, it's going to make your guards obsolete.
I think that's what worries me the most as well, is whether we're going to go back to these click to the back of like the base holes.
I don't think we're going to get to that. I don't even think that anyone in the Kickside department will, and in the BP department, would allow that now. They hate that old scenario, and I think that's the one thing they're trying to stamp out is the one-click fleets.
It's what stopped me actually doing PvP. I got bored of it, very bored, very quickly. Just click, go, and you can always go and make a brew, come back in, and it's finished. It was that bad, boring.
You guys remember the old days where we would have like 30 or 40 fleets in a sector attacking each other?
Yep.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
And all fixed overnight. All fixed in a few hours.
All fixed overnight. Yep.
Well, guys, I don't know. Did any of you guys get a chance to play the FAT?
I was clutching ours.
Hysterical fun.
So good.
I mean, I didn't get as much time to play it as I would have liked, but I managed to get in a few hours, and I had an absolute blast with those gunboats. I mean, they were just unreal.
I'll be honest, I stayed up. It was fun.
I wanted to stay up, but I just couldn't, man. I got to 3 a.m. and I was getting bleary-eyed and falling asleep, and I just quit at 3.
Well, it was. I felt like it was a much-needed bit of fun in a stressful week of the game. You know, it was exactly what I think a lot of people needed to relieve some tensions. You know.
When do we get charged for those gunboats?
I don't think we'll ever see those gunboats.
Yeah.
Like 1,000 shards.
Is that going to be the new base hitting fleet they're releasing?
Yeah, that's a glimpse of the new base hitting gunboat.
Resist too high.
I've never really played the FAT, but I must admit I played that and I had fun because it was free.
Yeah.
And it was a laugh, like.
They need to do that every now and again. I think they just need to do something like that. That was the first time I've ever seen them do that.
I think the FAT should be like that every time.
Well, they did hint. Thinking back to one of the things, there was a period. One of the notes about, I think it was last month's note or maybe the one before, said that the FAT is going to change and would be quite often it'd be free to play. And for me, the free to play in my bracket anyway, and there's a lot of high-level players in my bracket. You know, actually, the chats of the after event chats for each of the little fights, I had only about 15 or 20 of them, but they were all really pleasant rather than really aggressive because no one really cared whether you'd won or lost. To be honest, it was just a good laugh.
Mm-hmm. It was brilliant, and you know, I fully agree. We should be seeing that regularly. Like and it was perfect as well. Like, there was no ridiculous skins that everyone was going to cry over. It was just a load of fun. You know, we were collecting bacon bits, and everyone got a pig badge. I mean, it was just
summer base, yeah.
It was just a good laugh. I just wish that they would do that like once a month. You know.
And like I said before the show, you know, I'll admit it. Okay, I kill streak of 37, fantastic, and I'm a high-level player. I got smashed by a couple of level 60s because when they won, I went and clicked on their base and I went, and I give them congrats. I went, fair dues to you. If you coined, you'd obviously be quite a player. And he went, I don't have any money. I can't coin. However, this is great.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like they came up with a lot of different ideas on them gunboat ships too, from what I saw.
I think they just took every special ability and every stat of every ship in the game and then just piled it on there and just made it insane, didn't they?
It was awesome fun, man. I'm the same as Monster. I don't usually play the FAT, and I tried it and I had a blast.
Do you know what was fun? Do you know what I find really funny? Right, I was in chat with Gadget, right, and Gadget was saying He said, I'm not playing. I'm not playing the fat. Nope, no way. Right, for hours, man. It was like for 2-3 hours. Like, no way, no, I'm just not playing the fat. I don't like him. And then all of a sudden, like, I just see the comment going, all right, maybe I'll try it. And then, like, the next day, he's like, yeah, man, I was up to 3 a.m.
That Baconator badge did crack me up when I saw that.
I was in third when I went to bed, man. I got like 15,000 points and a 31 kill streak.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah, I think I went up to like 30, and then I jacked it in, but it was a good laugh. It was a good laugh and a good move by Kickside. So kudos to them on that one as well.
Yeah,
I feel like we're giving out a lot of kudos to them tonight. But
Yeah. No,
it
that
is
was a good one.
deserved, you know.
Am I right in thinking it was only 12 hours long?
It was only 12.
Yeah.
It was 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. my time. But
That was the only sucky thing about it, was that it was short. It would have been nice if it was a couple of days, so I could have got up today and hit it again.
Because I missed it totally. I didn't get to play last night, and then I logged in earlier today and saw some of the...
Do you know the only thing I thought we could have done really was actually is just break it down to like 3-hour segments and go, right, this is the first 3 hours, and then reset. So people can just go, I can sit down, I can do 3 hours, and I might get a gold gunboat. And then, right, reset again, walk away, you're done, and the next person can come, and then it would probably give more people, because the prize is a joke. I mean, and that's what it's meant to be. I get it. It's not a game changer, is it? Apart from sailing around with a shiny boat, which is pointless, but funny.
Well, it's better than what they used to do on April's Falls, when they used to make the rockets of Dave.
You used to have that thing in your base as well, that like snake thing that pops in and out.
Wasn't that Halloween?
That's Halloween, I think.
Oh, is it?
That was advertising of the game, wasn't it?
I was so confused the first
That was
time.
advertisement for Tome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was great all round. So let's I mean normally we would do the work in progress on a Tuesday show, but it was dropped on a Friday, so I think we'll go through it and have a chat about it. So there was actually a joke April Works in Progress posted originally. Did anyone see that?
That was comical. Yeah.
That was hilarious, and I could see. I actually had people PMing me direct quotes from that saying, "Are they being serious? Really serious?" And
I was looking forward to my 10 Forsaken Mission prizes: the Maverick missile, the Goose missile,
Yeah, how many minutes?
the Iceman missile.
And then, did you see that it said, due to overwhelming feedback, base parts are no longer going to be able to upgrade turrets?
Did you think about sacking all the Q&A team as well? There's not going to be any more feedback at all. That was it.
It was just a good laugh. It was just a good laugh all over that. I wish I could probably actually get it up, but I think everyone's managed to read it. Okay, so the real work's in progress. Let's get past April Fools, but the real work's in progress. So the first bit is about the FAT, which we've all talked about. There's a time-limited base defense campaign dropping on April the 5th, which I believe is Tuesday. This Tuesday coming, and it's going to be a time-limited campaign featuring base defense waves.
That's my birthday.
Is it your birthday? You're 45 already.
Thanks a lot, mate.
No, you don't look a day over 50. I mean, 20. Right. Similar to, so you hear that Tuesday night show is going to be Gadget's birthday. So I want everyone to turn up with cake. And
we should get party hats.
We'll sing happy birthday or something. We'll do something for you, Gadget.
I'm totally getting party hats. So
I'm getting a hat dedicated to you, Gadget, which will have the C word written across the top of it.
Cake.
Yeah, cake. Yeah, that's what I meant. It was, funnily enough, a 4-letter word as well. So there's going to be a Dragon Strike campaign, similar to the Dragon Strike campaign. The format for this campaign is similar to the previous campaigns of the same type, but with different attackers and prizes. More details will be available on April the 5th.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what fleets come and hit our bases, because if it's the same as the last ones, they're not going to get even into the channel, let alone
what if it's a new hull?
Channel.
Yeah, it'd be nice if the fleets that hit us were the new hulls that we're going to be getting to hit bases with.
Yeah. The new hull would be great to see.
It would be, actually. That would give us a teaser of what's coming, wouldn't it?
That would be awesome. Very much so.
How rubbish our bases are going to be.
But to be fair, To be fair, that could be like a double-edged sword, because if they did that and everyone's base is held up, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm not getting them. They're crap." You know what I mean?
Well, then they boost it, wouldn't they? So.
So yeah, no, I don't know if that'll be. Maybe it's just an example of. Maybe it will be like fleets like Punishers, heavy cruisers, Drake carriers, to show us how outdated and crap all our fleets are now.
Gunboats.
One gunboat.
Yeah, the gunboats from the fat.
Yeah.
They're going
We're
to
fine.
take the best builds from the fat, and you're going to get hit with waves of them gunboats.
Well,
Somebody said the Scourge returns.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I ignored that. I don't want to hear that one. Not that word.
Yeah, well, I don't know. What do you think? Does anyone have any hints on the prizes? Anyone know what's coming in the prizes?
I'd probably see either maybe a cold snap. I don't know. Maybe from or Wendigo.
Well, do you think
There's got to be something new, surely. There's got to be something new in there.
I'd like an Iron Curtain.
Do you think
yeah.
it will be? I mean, do you not think that bases have seen enough love recently? Do you really think it's going to be something to make our bases even stronger?
Maybe it's something we don't need at the top end. We don't need it. Just like a Wendigo, maybe. Let someone catch up with that.
Unless it's a Drake coax there.
Well, I would love to see a Drake coax, but don't wind me up any further.
Maybe they're going to bring in a low deflection hull for the little guys.
That would be nice.
Yeah, but if this is a defense campaign, then the little guys aren't going to be able to get that.
They should do with their bases now. If they just send in regular ships.
Do you know what would be nice to see? Is if they put something in there to help the little guys in the upcoming raid.
Yeah, it would be nice to see that.
Even if they put in like one heavy cruiser as a mastery prize or something.
Maybe they'll put in structure build again.
What about D5X? That's the lower guys?
Oh no,
D5X?
structure build. Structure build's the best one I've had.
Yeah, if there was 5 7-day structure builds, I would be the happiest.
Oh, I'd be all over that.
Yeah, so would I, mate.
Especially my turret.
Level 7 turrets and all that. You know what I mean?
Or 5-day hull tokens that you can keep for a month. Hint.
Well, we also let's move on to the April event Defiance. So the paragraph they've written about that: Zoe's aggression continues to run unchecked. After occupying the Draconian strongholds, she has commissioned a powerful basing hull called the Revenge. This suggests she may take the fight to the Forsaken if tested. Harlock's patience is at the end. He has ordered her to stop this insanity at once, or lose the Forsaken Council forever. Now's your chance to stock up on the holes in the hull store. Defiance begins April the 14th.
I took this as, or I don't know. I saw some other people take this. Is a raid going to be coming that is going to be them hitting us? Possibly.
Well, do you know what? That would be bloody cool if it was. I think a lot of people have been waiting for that for a very long time. So.
I mean, but in order to do that, they'd have to make our bases near to insta repair. So.
Agreed.
What if... I know there was a long time ago, there was a series of raids where the Draconians had occupied Forsaken bases, and they looked kind of like ours, you go in and hit them. What if instead of the Draconians, it's like resistance to rebel bases, and it's Zoe's faction leading ships in there. It's taken over by her instead of the Drax. Maybe something like that.
What was the old one against the Forsaken stuff versus the Draconian stuff? The old raid, well, several raids ago, last year sometime. Where you sit in the corner and wait for them to kill each other, and then you go in and finish them off.
The War Zones?
Yeah, I think that was...
That was a while ago, yeah. I think a different one, but yeah.
That was Reavers and Draconians. It was,
That was it.
I was just doing the campaign. Oh.
Well, has anyone seen the picture of the hull?
Yeah, random.
It does look a bit... I can't actually... it's not letting me screen share it. I did have it ready to screen share.
A bit HC-ish, maybe?
I was going to say, the last one I saw, it looked like a battle barge with on a bit of steroids towards the back.
Yeah,
thing, isn't it?
It's in line with this kind of the Citadel and the Centurion look.
Yeah, it's a bit random, isn't it?
But I'm not too keen on the colour scheme. I'm not sure
the
that colour
bluish.
scheme.
Yeah. More skins.
Well, yeah. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of skins recently released, have we? So.
No, not for a while.
And the new weapon is described as What is it? It's a machine gun kind of concussive weapon thing.
Concussive Gatling gun. And
It's
this
like a
confuses me.
Yeah, I'm confused with that one as well.
Maybe who knows? Maybe it's a base hitting weapon.
It's a beefed up Poseidon.
Well, but the Poseidons were only like, weren't they only super good against subs?
Maybe
it sounds like an anti-sub weapon, but I don't know. It's
if it's a machine gun Poseidon, which means it could shoot probably. If that thing has range, then I'm a bit concerned because we have no concussive.
If it's anti-sub and it's got range, then that says Scourge. All that word, yeah.
Concussive Gatling gun. What if it is a Gatling gun that shoots torpedoes? That sounds terrifying.
Hey, why not just put a tank launcher on there or something?
Put him back in his box, for God's sake.
Kick him off the show. Vote him off.
No, but it could be along those lines. In all fairness, I mean, if it's a machine gun that fires concussive, then it could be kind of firing out. Maybe it's firing out ballistic shells that do concussive damage.
That sounds much more reasonable. I'll go with that.
You know what I saw? What this weapon kind of reminds me of is who's ever seen Battleship?
The movie?
Yeah, the movie. Where the aliens like launch the thing and it latches onto the ship and then explodes.
Yeah, the canisters.
Yeah. Who knows if like maybe it's a weapon like that? Like it hits the ground, like stays there for a little second and then just explodes.
Well, someone posted a vid on the Forsaken page, actually, the Forsaken Council page, of a weapon system built in Sweden by Saab that basically is the real-life version of this thing, you know, and it fires these little mini shape charge grenades in set patterns that sink down and take out subs. So it's actually really cool.
Like a cluster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it driven by blokes smoking pipes with flat caps? that normally drive Saabs or.
The Saabs have got me.
Yeah, they made aircraft before they made cars.
They're still making aircraft.
They're still doing both, but yeah, their cars are very conservative, aren't they?
It's a niche market.
Yeah.
What actually is this hull? Is it player versus player or player versus?
It's player versus player.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a PvP hull.
So again, it could just be for fighting subs or fleets. It might not.
No, it's supposed to be for base hitting.
But with concussive,
but it doesn't got concussive defense, does it?
But maybe the weapon isn't meant to go. Maybe the hull is for hitting bases, but the weapon isn't.
Maybe it's a new counter to take down the
crawlers.
I think Mark said it already. I think it's going to be a hull, and I know they're saying it's PvP, but I think we're going to need it for the next set of raids because I think the Scourge are coming back.
Maybe they took cues from the real-life version of this weapon, and you shoot grenades in the air. It's kind of like mortars, right? But when they land, instead of sinking down into the water like normal, they would just stay on the ground where they land and explode for hitting bases.
We've talked about bases getting stronger and everything changing. Maybe it is a base hitting weapon that deals concussive damage. I mean, nobody's got resistances in their base.
Yeah, no one's got any resistance to concussive.
So maybe this is your chance to hit bases again. Maybe that's exactly what they need to have that edge.
Will that work for nothing?
But then is it going to be just one-hit win, though?
They said you'd have to wait till May to do it. Well, by the time we've all built this, those that won't coin, that will be May time, won't it?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So what's y'all's feelings about not having 101s this raid?
It's gonna make my raid a whole lot harder.
I did A-sets personally. I was A-sets myself last time.
I did A-sets too, so it's not going to make any difference to me whatsoever.
Hey Dave, that fleet that Omega and the Punishers, does that do good on the A-sets?
Yeah, that'll do A-sets. I ran it with a Grease Monkey, and it does an A-set in about 10 minutes for, I think it was about 3 or 4 coins.
3 or 4 coins, yeah, I was doing the same thing.
Because my fleet will be done by the raid.
I posted a video on that, I think, somewhere. In fact, I did, yeah.
I don't... Here's the thing. I need advice from you guys, because I'm a little outdated. What would be a good Rhino build or something like that would be good for doing A-sets?
Ooh. You got the Iron Curtain to think about, haven't you?
Well, you need a tank up front, and then I would run if it is solely for doing the A sets, you would probably run better with blades, but I prefer to use the other missiles that have the bypass on them.
I use Harriers, yeah.
I use Harriers on everything because when you actually
as well.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have a 50% resist from the pink shiny building, in addition to any other resist they may already have normally, it's quite possible that the Harriers will just do better.
Yeah, you target that pink building first, though, if you can.
Yep. I mentioned that the other day in the chat.
What about a Centurion?
No.
Centurions could work, but you would have to put a build on a Centurion that's specifically for that. Like you would have to completely. The way that we've all built Centurions in the game, we've gone heavy ballistic and radioactive, and if you're going to go into the A sets, you're going to need explosive and missile. And also, the cold snap will take away your special bonus on them as well. So, I don't think Centurions would ever really do too well in the raid.
That's the only tanky hole I have.
I tried my Punishers with Citadels and a Harlock in there. I was hitting 101s before, but I had to go at an A set. I think that cost me 3 coins to get through a set of A's.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I've been told that Citadels are going to perform very well in this raid still, including the new 110 targets.
Really?
I have 3 legendary ones.
I took mine into the 110s, mate, and they didn't do well.
Yeah, I was going to say I watched Monster do that in the preview server, and his Citadels died real quick in there, man.
What you running on your Citadel? If driven right, you shouldn't even. Nothing should hit Citadels.
Did you tank them? What was tanked with it?
Punishers, mate. Which the missiles just tore.
Really?
Have you running the new? Were you running a new countermeasure siege thing?
What on?
The Punishers.
No, but that wouldn't have made a difference, mate. The damage those things put out was just crazy.
Right. I guess it depends on what's on the tanks.
I have a Citadel on that.
It was my tank for my Rhino fleet, which I've been hitting bases with for like the past God knows how many weeks. So it's the defensives are crazy high, mate. But the actual bases itself were just overpowered, mate. Do you know what I mean? I took Citadels in them. I took Punishers in.
So the 110s are a no-go by the sounds of it, then?
Well, I don't know if they're a no-go. I mean, when a couple of us went in, us managed to do it.
That's the point. Is it a co-op then? Is it?
The damage
shouldn't be easy, should it?
The damage was still high, but that's what I was going to say. TSM, I think they should be co-op, but then that depends on points then.
And a good payout.
At the same time, they should be hard though, right? This is the thing that everyone. If they're supposed to be an elite target, and for the last couple of raids, they've been really, really easy, right? They've been the go-to target for everyone, and really, they should be harder than the rest of the stuff in the raid because they're supposed to be an elite level target for endgame players with all the toys.
Which I agree. But when I took my Punisher fleet in, mate, and I took out half of it, and it wiped my whole pun fleet out, mate.
Yeah. I mean, they should be balancing it up on points. Because the last, the 101s were the same amount of points as an A set. So the only thing you gained by doing the 101s, well, for me, was they were a lot cheaper to hit, but
and quicker.
And that was it. Time.
Speed was the issue. Yeah, it was quicker.
Yeah. Time was the main thing. You run one legendary crew for an hour and a half, and that's pretty much me done with all my raid points I needed.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. It should definitely be worth more points. If it's harder as an elite level target, it should be worth way more points than the A sets are.
Well, we kind of I mean, what you said a minute ago, Gadget. I almost feel a little bit guilty because we did actually say that last raid. We kind of blasted it, saying that the 101s were a bit of a joke, and it was more functional to hit 101s than it was A sets, and now they've kind of took away 101s. I almost feel a bit guilty, like maybe we played a part in that,
Well, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Hi, Ren. It's kind of a
Hi, Ren.
self-fulfilling prophecy because with these mega holes, we've had the option to hit them even really before this raid cycle, and because we've been getting so many reports that these things are so easy, and they're so differently styled as well, if you didn't want to take the time to build all the gales to do the ABC sets, you could just do the mega hole for reasonably cheap, reasonably well, and then we would tinker fleets just to do the 101, and then it ends up being overhit, and we don't have the proper design for the ABCs because we've just been focusing on the 101s, and you can't really compare the difficulty of the two because they're so inherently different in the types of damage they do and the style that they are. So them changing it kind of had to be done.
Which is fair enough, mate. But I even went one step further. I took 2 Punishers and my Hellstar into a 110 and still got smashed.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, it sounds like it's too overpowered.
Well, I mean, everyone that was in that preview server had a way to fill out a survey afterwards and tell Kixeye what they felt about it. So with a little bit of luck, most people that tried them have said that, and Kixeye might listen. Although I know in the last couple of previews they have not really changed anything from preview to in-game. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Another interesting point in a WIP that picks up on the raid is there was a section that labelled as post-April event. And in the paragraph it says, following the event, the blueprint shards offered in the whole store will enter into the draconian uranium bases as possible drop prizes. So that tells us that there's going to be blueprint shards offered in the whole store this raid. And after the raid, they're going to drop into the draconian.
I think is that going to be for the Proto Nemesis though?
I don't know.
Because reading that, they turned around and said they're going to get rid of the Proto Nemesis blueprint as a one-hit win from the Drac bases totally, and it's going to go purely to shards.
Yeah, well, it says each blueprint offered will require 250 shards to complete, and this includes new Proto Nemesis shards. The Proto Nemesis blueprint itself is being removed from the draconian bases. So, so I would expect to see if they're talking about putting shard blueprints like into the prize pool where you can maybe spend 1 million points to collect 1 shard. I'm expecting, if they're going to do that, I'm expecting to see perhaps the Hellstar, the Nemesis, and the Ghost Crawler in there as shards.
Okay, and just confirm then, those that were in the preview then, was the Iron Curtain up in the 110 and the A sets, or was it just in the 110, or was it not there at all?
They were in the 110s, mate.
Just the 110.
I didn't think it was an Iron Curtain in there. I thought it was like just the regular Drac coaxials.
Okay. It was the regular coaxial, I think, wasn't the Iron Curtain.
Well, that's easy enough to overcome then. That's okay.
Monster, can I ask you a question as well on a personal note? But are you still running Pandemoniums, or are you running Judgments?
Pandemoniums, mate. I haven't switched them across yet.
Yeah,
that would make a massive difference.
It wasn't the damage I was doing to the base was fine. It was just the fact that the damage coming from the base itself just took down my tank so quick, and then I was just left with like my M3 M6, mate, which just got killed.
Oh, so okay, mate. Okay. So with the post-April event section there, I mean, how do you guys feel about the Nemesis being taken out of the blueprint pool for the normal train phase? Do you think that they're going to add something else in there, or
is it relevant anymore?
I mean, what are they going to add in there that's like just as novelty-like? I mean, I only hit drag bases for the chance to get it.
Yeah, but the Nemesis is such an obsolete hull that it'd be better.
Next month's fat. There you go.
I already have one.
You could probably build a Punisher that could take more damage than.
But the Proto Nemesis might be one of these things that they're going to be messing with in the Foundry.
I was going to get onto the Foundry.
Oh, that'd be great too. I mean, my Nemesis has got blades on it. It's quite up to date with kit on it, but it's still shit.
400% repair time. I mean, who needs?
That's exactly it.
If they put the Proto Nemesis in, then they're going to have to put the Hellstar in because they can't make Proto Nemesis better than the Hellstar.
Yeah, they'd have to do a lot to the Proto Nemesis to make it better than the Hellstar, mate. I mean, they could make it better than it is without making it better than the Hellstar.
Even if they just gave it the thermal and the stuff that the Proto Nemesis had in those raids where it was the Reavers versus the Jacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just be a little bit of a better shit to
They
have.
gave it like a frostburn like field, right?
Like a hybrid version, yeah.
That was the proto Nemesis.
Yeah. 100 thermal on it, so you're not getting jumped by tiger sharks every 2 seconds with it. And then get a 2-day repair bill for just one ship.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they roll out the Nemesis, because I mean, if they want people to, I mean, 250 shards for a Nemesis, I feel was hard done by. I mean, I would even feel that 50 is too much for it.
Yeah, because at 250 shards, they're putting it in the same category as Ghost Crawlers and Hellstars, and it's just, unfortunately, it's just not in that category, and it really shouldn't. The price of it should reflect that, unless they're going to improve it.
That's right.
But they should, if they're going to improve it, they should just improve it and not make it something that we have to improve after winning.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, so
I'm happy for that.
the half-repair defense fleet slot. This was something we were already meant to have, which has been a bit delayed. We kind of already know what it is, and it says here that he's hoping it will be complete and available by April the 12th, which is actually 2 days before the raid starts. That'll be on the Tuesday. That'll be a week this Tuesday. So how do you guys feel about that?
It'd been nice to have it for the 5th of April with their new campaign. But no, I think it's a great step forward in the game to give us that. But the sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to improve the whole PvP aspect of the game as well.
Yeah.
So, it's nice that we'll get it before the new PvP hole, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the one that I think has certainly got gadget word. It's got me a bit concerned as well. Is the new Foundry system that they've been talking about. I mean, the details of this have been quite vague, and I don't really. I kind of already think I know what it's going to be. I just hope it's not going to be what I think it's going to be. It says we are currently working on a new crafting system that will allow players to gather blueprint fragments. I would assume that blueprint fragments are going to work very similar to base parts. From a variety of targets and convert them into existing blueprints as a catch-up mechanic. This is also a way for players to improve existing hulls to be more efficient in combat, similarly to retrofits. This is a very deep feature that we have been working on for some time now, and we are continuing to iterate and tweak this feature. I mean, as of this missive, it kind of doesn't make a great deal of sense here in that sentence there. The scheduled data for this feature is April the 10th, April the 19th, but may be delayed further depending on our progress. Yes, good. Jump in.
So what I wanted to say, and that's not a sure thing, it's just my understanding based on some information here and there. It's this is going to replace retrofitting hulls.
I knew that they were
they're not putting hulls anymore in the retro lab, but instead of you retrofitting a particular hull, and even after you do that, that hull may not be competitive or may still be old, or after a few months it's old again. It's going to be improvements on a family of hulls. So I don't know, however many hulls they define as being a siege PvE hull would be a category. And
right.
Old hulls and new hulls would fall into that category. And then if you choose to make improvements in that category, whatever improvements you make will affect all hulls in that category. Or now you have a fleet versus fleet type hulls. And then you choose to improve that category, then all hulls you have in there will be improved. I don't know, their speed, whatever.
I was gonna say when you say improved, what kind of improvements are we talking? I mean,
I don't know the statistics, but I mean it's improvement on their statistics. I mean maybe a speed improvement, an overall evade improvement, an overall thermal detection improvement. The same kinds of incremental improvements you had on the retro lab, but now instead of being applied to a hull, will be applied to a category of hulls.
Are we going to get a new lab for this, or is it going to be
I don't know.
In the retro lab?
It sounds like a bit of a retro to me.
It's the
Foundry.
Foundry.
They're calling Foundry. I think it's a new building.
Yeah.
That's just a guess.
Yeah, you say because it's going to be in the retro lab still. Then I wouldn't use it because I'm doing stuff for like my ships now.
Yeah, I think it's separate, but that's
that would be a good thing because currently I don't retrofit hulls ever.
No,
right? I retrofit components and only components because they're a 24-hour fit and retros are 7 days plus, right? So I don't want to dedicate my retro lab for 7 days to a hull and not be that's seven retro levels on component that I could do. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I get more of an advantage from them. So I'd like that, to be honest with you.
Well, another comment that's important, especially for low level or guys who are catching up. And again, that's not confirmed, so don't hold Kicksly or myself accountable for that. I think I heard they were thinking about it. I don't know if that's going to be out. They said some of the basic hulls that were in the retro lab, maybe they were just going to make their R5 become the basic blueprint, so the low levels earning those hulls wouldn't have to retrofit them at all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think that would be great if that were the case, because a lot of the lower level players have difficulty getting uranium, just in general, and even if they do, it takes them so long in the retro lab to go from R3 to R4, R4 to R5. So that'd be great.
And not only the uranium, but the time, like Gadget said, I mean, even like you get a Hurricane, a Triton, it takes days to do an R5, or over a week. If that becomes the basic statistic and they don't have to do that, it's then much better.
Well, that's why
And I don't know if that's going to come out, but I know it was put on the table, right?
Well, that's like if anybody asks me about retro and hulls, I always say don't, because components don't change, hulls do. So, so what's like the point?
I almost, I mean, at the moment, I feel like it's something being created, something being made that is unnecessary. Like I'm not trying to slate it, but I kind of feel like it's something that we don't need right now. It's going to be another chore. And I feel that the in-game chores has kind of risen a little bit again. It's not out of control. It's not bad, but it just feels like there's going to be another thing to go and collect. It means there's going to be another thing to go get.
See,
do we really need it with R&D and everything else we've got going? I mean, this is just like ship R&D basically, isn't it?
I think we do need it though, mate, because what it does is it splits your retro lab into two. It means that you can continue doing components and you can just set a ship going in the Foundry and forget about it. Now, currently, I miss out on any advantages that I could gain from retroing ships because I don't do them. If I had a Foundry where I could retro my ships and still keep doing components, then all my ships would be retroed.
But I was going to say, what ships are in the retro lab at the moment are really worth retroing up?
V2H. But they're not now, not for me at my level, but certainly for lower levels. But with the Foundry, if they're going to be bringing the new stuff that comes out or the newer stuff that comes out into there, then it's going to be useful to me.
I just hope it doesn't become like what they did in Vega Conflict, because that was an absolute game killer.
Oh, me too.
And the other thing I hope is that they don't create another set of new targets that now you gotta hit those targets to get whatever to use in the Foundry. I mean, I hope they leverage the existing targets, because otherwise there's gonna be too many PvE things to do, chores to do in the game.
Why don't they just use base parts thing, right? And just have it ship and base parts, so you can just use them both in both labs, like
I think
both ways.
I think one of the good things, kind of jumping around, for this is retrofit. You take the parts, you pull them into existing blueprints, so it allows for a straightforward but grindy option for the low and non-corners, the lower levels. Like, let's say you joined after the end of the Rhino's time-limited campaign was offered. Maybe you go around, you get 100 blueprint parts, whatever. Congratulations, you have a Rhino. Just stuff that's better than the campaigns, but is still kind of out of reach for a lot of players in the raids themselves. That might be a good kind of niche range to put into this Foundry for a catch-up mechanic.
Yeah, I mean they do list the catch-up mechanics, and I would like to see more of an emphasis on the catch-up side of things than I would for us benefiting our holes, because I feel that if there's a way for players let's just say like Lucy or like players that are of a lower level that need to come into the game and don't have the tech, if there's a way for them to go out, collect parts, and then use those parts to create a blueprint, I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great catch-up mechanic. I prefer that idea than I do to the Foundry, using that to improve your ships.
You turn around, Liam, and someone else said, what did happen in Vega? Because I don't play it. I played it up to about level 20.
To be honest, Vega, I loved Vega when it first came out. I probably spent more money in that game than anyone did before it went public. I mean, I was a high level, but I was the highest level non-kickside player before that game went open beta. And it was a great game. It really was. It was a fantastic game. I felt I almost stopped playing BP because of it. But I know recently, much after I left the game, they added a feature in where you have a lab and you have to go out and hit fleets on the map, or ship fleets, whatever they call them on the map, and collect these parts, and then you use these parts you use the parts to improve your ship. Like it goes up in ranks and gains little statistical boosts. But the system that they have in there is so overcomplicated. Like, I mean, you would need a fucking degree in science to understand it anyway, and it's pointless. It's completely
and it also threw the whole game out of balance.
It completely destroyed the game.
It ruined apocryphy cruisers altogether. Do you know what I mean? Because when they started bringing out the crafting, and it made all these other ships that used to be very vulnerable to apocryphy cruisers. Completely non-vulnerable to them. So all these people that had invested all this time and effort, their stuff was worthless. And honestly, a lot of people just, the game got very, very boring after that, because people just, they were just always chasing parts to try and upgrade stuff rather than actually playing the game.
Right.
And the thing is,
like, just Kickstarter will never do anything to make our stuff worthless, would they?
Exactly.
I think with Vega, they had the foundation to have an absolutely amazing game, but what they lacked was new ideas and adding new content into the game to improve it. I mean, basically, you're playing a game 3 years down the line that started off where you were hitting fleets on the map and still is based around hitting fleets on the map. That's basically the game, is you just hit fleets on the map. There's nothing else in it. You know what I mean? So it's so yeah. I mean, I'm not going to slate the game too much, but it was disappointing.
Do you know what the best thing about BP is? It's the old adage: keep it simple, stupid. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. So you can come on today, the same as I started 5 years ago, and you can still perform at the right level against a peer-to-peer piece. You can still do it. It's not difficult.
If I would say anything to the guys that are working on this Foundry system, whether that be you, Raken, or whether that be Robot, or anyone that's got any involvement in it, can you guys, before you go any further, load up Vega Conflict, take a look at what they did there, and promise us to do the opposite? Because if you do, please, do not copy that, and just use that as a guide as to what not to do, or what could go wrong. Because I think if we get anything like that, then it's going to be a failure.
Yeah, and please give us plenty of notice. Release the information a little while before you're gonna drop it on us.
Why not come up with a couple of ideas and open up a preview server, allow players to go in, test it out, even if it's like a few hundred or 1,000 or whatever. Let them go in, test it out, give you the feedback, and then create the feature off of that feedback.
Option A, option B, option C.
I got a point to make about preview servers. Go on, Ren. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say they wanted to discuss the Foundry in the Town Hall meeting, but we ran out of time. I mean, we had too many items in the agenda overall. We could not get to that one on time. So let's see. I think it's going to be released now before we have another chance to talk.
Cool.
But that one worries me less, I think, because it's a new feature. It's not like them changing an existing feature much.
I don't mind it if it's a researchable thing, but if it's another thing that we've got to go out and collect something to make it work, we've now got base parts, we've got uranium, we've got to get our res. I know res is easy to come by. We've got to do the Forsaken mission each week. It's just another chore. And some of the chores are fun. You know, I quite enjoy hitting some of the new targets, but those new targets soon become old targets and become quite boring. And yeah, so let's not have another chore where we've got to collect something, because for me, the game is fighting other players.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just going to say about the preview server. I got a comment about a preview server. I really, really, really wish that Kixeye would find a way to do preview servers so that people who play on the Kixeye site, your own site, can actually get in with their base. I think it's ridiculous that someone who plays on another person's site can get in and I can't when I play on your site. I really think you should fix that.
Well, no, you can get in, but it's like a level 1.
You get a level 1 base. You can't do nothing. You know, and I'd like as someone who plays on your site, I would like to be able to get into test servers with my stuff. And I know there's a lot of other people out there saying the same thing, and I really think you should fix that if you can.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Okay, guys, shall we have a quick read-over of April's Forsaken Mission prizes? We have the much-anticipated and much-awaited and moaned by me, D5C. Yeah.
Yay! Yeah, finally.
Finally, yeah, finally. Alloy Armor CL, levels 1 to 3.
Maybe that's corrosive.
Well, yeah.
It's not.
No. I read the forums. Okay. Doomwister said L is radioactive, and I understand it makes no sense, but that's what I saw.
Well, CL, radioactive and ballistic, that's basically a special for a Centurion that does dubs and mines.
Yeah.
Or anything that does dubs and mines.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But I would say it's going to be best on the Centurion.
So yeah, I mean, if that is ballistic and radioactive, then I'm all for that. That's a great special. I can already see some refits on my Centurion, so thank you for that. Combustion System 2. What does everyone think that's going to be like?
Very interested to see, mate.
Well, if it's going to be worth using, then it's going to have to be an improvement on Explosive System 4.
Yeah, exactly.
It's either going to have a better projectile speed than Explosive System 4, or it's going to have a similar projectile speed, but it's going to have to incorporate the fire fields from the incendiary shells.
Well, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. We did speak about that.
On your citadels, that'd be great.
I would love to see that. I'd love to see it with the same projectile speed and incendiary shells thrown in there.
Yeah, because if it, I mean, otherwise, what's the point of them releasing that? You know,
So what's my motivation to refit the Explosive System 4 off and it on?
And also bear in mind that. Sorry, go on, Monster.
I was going to say, Explosive System 4 didn't come out that very long ago.
Yeah. Well, I know that I did hear from Raken like a month ago. He said that something was coming to help Centurion. So. Sorry, Citadel. So maybe this is what he was talking about. But yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if
I'm sorry, Monster. You're
well, this is a work in progress, right? I mean, I think to have a meaningful discussion, we should wait for the actual release notes. Whenever after the raid they say what's coming without the details and specs. I mean, right now we're speculating.
Yeah, we're speculating.
Yeah, well, I'm actually more trying to hint to them what would be a good thing to make the specs.
Yeah, I'm secretly having a double agenda there.
Just in case they're watching, you know, I'm giving them suggestions.
And I was just going to say to Monster's comment on, we've just had Explosive System 4, so it wouldn't make sense to have something like that. Harrier missiles.
Missiles, I was saying the same thing.
Then Trident missiles and Blade missiles.
Mm-hmm. Then Harriers again.
Yeah, and then Harriers will get better again. So, yeah,
it's true.
Well, for anyone that wasn't fully up to speed as well, the Glacial launcher turret will remain as a fallback prize, which is great for anyone that hasn't had a chance to collect that yet, because it is a great turret. So
now, 3 prizes means more ship coins, which means, you know, hopefully another fleet built before the next raid.
Well, I mean, if you already got the Glacial this month, you're gonna have 4 chances at tokens, right?
3?
Yeah.
3?
So potentially 20 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is massive, which is huge. Love that.
Okay, and then the last thing on there is the VXP weekend targets. This is interesting as well. We plan to utilize the Draconian Convoys from the Revenge Raid format of events as the new VXP weekend targets. Similarly to these event targets, priority ships within the convoy will be designated with increased VXP payouts, so be sure to destroy these targets before they can escape. More news on the schedule for the VXP weekend to come.
Just make sure you got north and slow to rank.
Yeah, I personally thought that's a bit shit. For those of us that haven't coined a fleet, the next fleet that we'd want to be ranking up is Centurions, which are a siege sort of heavy, sort of like they're a base hitting fleet. So all of a sudden they're saying, right, to rank them up, you've got to go against fleet versus fleet, and not only that, to get the best VXP, you've got to sort of bull rush them, for want of a better expression from Harry, into that fleet to go and get those ships with the targets above them, to get the more VXP. So yeah, brilliant. Let's get a lot more damage. So we have to coin a lot more repairs, rather than I think the last targets where we would have been a hell of a lot better for Centurions to hit to get the VXP.
Well, I think it's difficult for them right now. Like, we last VXP weekend we had the mine targets, and I think the community in general wasn't too happy about that from what I remember. I mean, I only had Centurions to rank in that, so I enjoyed it. But I know for players that didn't, it was not great. I may be haunted by some strange white. Anyway, so yeah. And now they're switching to the fleets. So they went from the mines to the fleets. I mean, and I don't. From the sounds of it, there's going to be people that aren't happy with the fleets. So they can't seem to strike a happy medium there.
I had nothing to rank last time. Absolutely nothing. But
they could design a new target with a mixture of kind of slow-moving ships. Like fast-moving ships for a VXP bonus sounds fine, but let's just say, the old 85.
Brian, sorry for interrupting you, Brian.
No, go ahead.
Just want to say, you just said something, and I want to use what you said. You just said they could design something for that, and one thing they made very clear is that going forward, for all those other activities, they're going to be reusing old raid targets, right? So they won't be designing specific things for VXP weekend or Forsaken mission or stuff like that. They'll be, just like they're going to do now. Revenge raid goes into VXP weekend. This series of raid now, siege raid, that's going to be futurely, let's say, FM. And they're going to keep cycling stuff like that from raid to something else, to a campaign, to FM, or to VXP weekend. That's their plan going forward. That's part of that 16-month plan they were talking about.
And that's giving the PV a bit of longevity as well, isn't it?
Yeah, because their goal is to give
something interesting.
By the way, that's a good thing. Their goal is to give the whole an average 10-month longevity in the game. So they will use the Citadels as their example, right?
Yeah, because if you've got a hull that's built for the raid, at some point that hull is going to be good for the FM or for something else. You know what I mean?
You just said that the current raid targets are going to be the future FM targets, Ren.
At some point.
I said FM or campaign or something like that.
Yeah, that's what we said. Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't mind seeing this current raid rotation targets as future VXP. It's got ships, it's got buildings. You can go in with slow stuff. You can go in with fast stuff. Whatever. Something a little balanced, hopefully, would be good, and that sounds good.
But they'd have to tone it down a little, though, wouldn't they? Surely.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Revenge raid. By the way, my only concern with revenge raid is that, I think it was Brian or Judge who said, it's like, if I want to rank a Citadel, my only option is going to be to just suicide the fleet, because no way a Citadel can hit those heavy cruisers and V2Cs from revenge raid.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? It's just going to be suicide and repeat.
I was planning to rank a Gamma, which means I'm going to have to wait for it to build and then refit it again, because it's for a base, so it's got no speed to it at all. But if I've got to chase down little fleets, then I've got to refit the thing again.
Well, at least in Gamma you may have cannons, so you can actually hit the incoming ships.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys. Is there any more topics that you guys wanted to go into tonight?
Just looking back for the chat, actually.
Anyone else notice Lucy with the cat over there?
She was kissing the cat.
Lucy, get out the bloody camera.
I did see something on the page about ledge crews, mate.
She's the Easter egg
a
of
lot
the show.
of people are finding it hard to roll them, which is surprising.
I just rolled 3 today. I don't know.
I rolled 1,000 or the thousands and then re-rolled the 800s, and I've rolled a legendary crew in probably about 2 months now.
I am getting sick and tired
I got a 3 monkeys last week, and I got a demo squad the day before.
I'm getting sick.
I usually, until I get a legendary, I gotta spend like 5,000 uranium.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting really fed up of rolling the ones for UAVs and for drones. I mean, I'm just
me too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Throwing them away now. I'm actually.
I'm using those in the FM, just getting rid of them. The same thing as what Ren's running.
Want to know the one that knocks me the most? Lucky bastards.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I know, they should change that to unlucky bastard.
Yeah.
No, it just shouldn't.
Unlucky fucker.
It shouldn't be in the 1,000 roll at all.
It shouldn't be.
There's quite a lot of them actually. I really think they need to rework it. There's a lot of crews in the 1,000 roll that ain't worth 1,000 uranium, and they shouldn't be in that roll.
Well, I think if they keep that lucky bastards in the 1,000 roll, maybe they could tailor it so you get a shard or something from a Drac base.
Well, for instance, why would I be getting a standard Sea Serpents for the same price that I get the better one for? Right? You get them both in the 1,000 roll. The standard one should,
right? They have 4 buckets. They have based on the stars. All they're changing from the 500 to the 1,000 roll is probability. So it's not that you're not going to get the cheap one. Now we have a tiny chance of getting a legendary one.
Yeah, you can't get a legendary in the 500 roll.
No, but you can on the 1,000. So all they're changing is probability.
Yeah,
It's just variance.
I just think they should get rid of. So I think they should separate it a little bit more. You know, if you're gonna have the 24% of a crew in the 1,000 roll, then you should have the standard one in the 500 roll.
Personally, I think as the game is now completely changed, I think they need to revamp them. This is the time to do it now.
Well, I think that maybe when they start defining holes as like Siege and PvP,
absolutely.
And, maybe then instead of a rogue crew saying we'll boost hammerheads, maybe it will say it will boost siege fleets. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. That'd be a good idea.
Maybe it'll be something that they are planning to rework, but they're just going to wait until they start doing the definitions.
Yeah. Will increase sea wolves. Who has those fleets anymore?
There's a guy in chat who's asked a couple of times if someone wants to explain what these transformers are and what they do.
Jim,
I can do that.
Okay.
A transformer, when you upgrade a turret all the way up to level 7, you will gain an additional slot on it for something called a transformer. Now, currently there can only be 2 transformers that are researchable, the AT and DT. And what they do is you put that in the transformer slot, and it will give your turret different abilities. It increases the power consumed, and for the AT, it will increase its damage, but it will reduce its defenses. So something like that you want to put on your backline, your APOX, your Deadeye, etc. And the defense will give it more resistances at the cost of decreasing its damage. So you want to put that on your front line, your basilisks, frostbites, whatever you may have. It's just a little bit more. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the word. Just a little differentiation between the turrets.
It's
specialization.
Right? It also changes the graphics of the turret as well.
And they look nice, yes.
Yeah.
And at the moment, there's only 2 that are researchable, but that doesn't mean that there won't be others that come out in say, raid price format and so on.
And I did hear that in the raid there will be a new Transformer coming. Optimus Prime apparently is going to be
I would so pay money to get that transfer. If one of my turrets turned into Optimus Prime, that would be badass.
He just chills, and at half health, he gets up, walks over, and punches a ship.
Yeah.
Do you know the only thing with the Transformers, though, is you physically know when you're attacking, look at the colour of that turret, I know what's going to be on there. Look at the turret top, look at what the Transformer is, you know the percentage of damage you're going to get. The good thing about when you load up things like the OP, you don't see what the person's loaded it with. You've got to try and work it out. Has he gone for extra explosive for his APOX, or has he gone for defensive, or I don't know what he's got.
Yeah, you're not gonna know till you fire that first shot at that turret.
Nothing happens.
I don't think that they should have put the graphic changes on them, because I feel that you're kind of giving away the tactic there. If they know what transformer you're using, then you're kind of, you're ruining the tactic there before you begin, because they already know what they're getting themselves in for.
They look good, but the point is it's giving the game away a bit too much.
Yeah, it'd be good if you couldn't tell by looking at them what they were. You didn't know until you actually started shooting at them.
But when do you guys use them?
I'm not saying.
You'll have to wait till you see my turret change.
No, but I must admit, I hit a base. I hit a base a couple of days ago with my Citadel fleet, and its guard fleet was awful. Someone had prepped it out with subs, and I sort of went in, and my first salvo of Pando mortars that hit us, that normally melt turrets, just did absolutely fuck all, and to all his turrets. I was like, oh, fair play to you. You've just spent about $5,000 on this game. Not, but sort of, at least it gave me a good idea as to what my base might be like in a year's time. It just really, it was tough as hell, really. I mean, and that was with the new turret upgrades, but even so.
I'm still doing my first level 7 turret, and that's on my Draconian scattergun. I want that to last.
I've got 2 level 7 turrets in my base now.
Yeah, but I hit a base all 18 turrets were level 7.
What?
Yeah, and I'm guessing they've got the Transformers in them as well, because the amount of damage that these things took from the mortars that were landing on them, I was just like, wow, why are they still there?
But they are they have 6 or 7 times the armor points, don't they?
I know they do. They are absolutely fucking awesome. But I didn't expect to see it at this stage in the game, I must say.
I actually was down in Sector 40 the other day, and I saw me and my friends were all hitting bases, and we found one of obviously what was a hacker. He had defensives, all level 7s, all offensives, it was just madness, and we couldn't kill one gun because we would die from his support turrets before then.
Well, guys, we are running into we're 20 minutes over there, but it's been a good show. We've had a lot of good topics to discuss tonight. I know the work in progress was dropped late in the week, so we kind of hit that over the weekend. But I'm sure we'll probably hit into it a little bit on Tuesday as well. But again, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who watches the show and supports us in the page, and thanks to everyone who's come on the show tonight. Another good thing I'd like to announce as well is that the Forsaken Council have now set up our own website. We actually have our own webpage now. I'll put the webpage link in the description of the video, and I'll post it up on the page. All the information that we talk about, the pictures, and a lot of the posts we make, the helpful tips, and a lot of the builds that we generate on the page and help people with, you can find all that information in our website now. You can actually click a tab and go into builds in the website as well.
And it can be accessed by mobile as well.
It's a great little tool that Andrew, our art guy, has been working on. It's a fantastic page, and we've only just started working on it, so we are going to improve it as we go. So definitely check that out, guys. And yeah, I mean that's it for us for this week. So thanks to everyone that's come out, and we'll see you Tuesday.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night.